phone call was meant to end a man's career. A billionaire CEO, cold and impatient, pressed the wrong number. But instead of an employee's broken voice, a small boy whispered, trembling, "Please, come help my mom." In that moment, the CEO's world shifted forever. The call began as an act of power. A billionaire CEO, known for his ruthless efficiency, leaned back in his leather chair, dialing with steady precision. He intended to dismiss a man with a single cold sentence. No explanations, no second chances, just the brutal end of a career. But when the line connected, what answered was not a frightened employee bracing for disaster. It was the fragile, shaky voice of a child. "Please, can you come help my mom?" For the first time in years, silence filled the CEO's office. He had built an empire on control, yet a child's plea pierced through his armor. He did not hang up. Instead, he listened. He heard muffled sobs, a woman's labored breathing, and the faint clatter of dishes in the background. The boy explained that his mother had collapsed. He had found her on the kitchen floor, gasping, clutching her chest. He had dialed the last number she tried to call, not knowing it belonged to one of the most powerful men in the city. The CEO could have dismissed it. He could have told the boy to call emergency services and returned to his empire. But something deep, almost forgotten, stirred inside him. Long ago, before the billions, before the empire, he had been a boy too. A boy who once held his own mother's hand as she fought illness alone. Without hesitation, he called for his driver. The car raced through the streets, the city lights flashing like restless stars. When he arrived, he found not the polished halls of power he was accustomed to, but a dim apartment filled with the scent of burnt food and fear. On the floor lay a woman, pale, trembling, her breaths shallow. The little boy clutched her hand, eyes red from crying. He looked up at the CEO, not knowing who this man was, only knowing he had answered. The CEO knelt down beside her, his suit brushing against the cracked tiles. He lifted her gently, his voice steady for the boy. "Stay calm. She will not be alone tonight." Paramedics arrived within minutes, summoned by his authority. But what struck the boy most was not the flashing ambulance lights. It was the sight of the most powerful man he had ever seen, holding his mother's hand, waiting beside her stretcher until she was safe. In the quiet that followed, the boy whispered the words that would stay with the CEO forever. "You saved her, and you saved me." The billionaire had come to end one life that day. Instead, he had saved two. Later, when his assistant reminded him of the employee still awaiting dismissal, the CEO shook his head. No one deserves to be discarded with a phone call. Every voice matters. Every life matters. And then he spoke words that would echo beyond the walls of his office. Power means nothing if it cannot protect the powerless. The employee kept his job. The boy's mother recovered, supported quietly by the CEO, who never asked for recognition. And for the first time in decades, the man who once believed compassion had no place in business remembered the warmth of his own mother's smile. From that day forward, the boy's plea became his guiding truth. He was no longer just a billionaire. He was a man who had been reminded that sometimes the smallest voices carry the greatest power. And when people asked why his leadership had changed, why he suddenly spoke of dignity and humanity in boardrooms once ruled by fear, he offered only one sentence. "I answered a call, and it answered me." Stories like this remind us that behind wealth, power, and titles, we are all human. Respect and compassion cost nothing, yet they can change everything. What do you think this story teaches us about power and humility? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let us know where in the world you are watching from. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that honor the quiet strength of humanity.